What is invisible, omnipresent, lives in clouds, and controls our lives? It's data. Even atheists agree. Well, at least Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump agree on this. And that is why India's proposed policy of locally storing all data generated by Indians has not gone down well with the US and its big tech and retail companies. We can't be sure of PM Modi giving Trump another desi handshake this time when he visits the US on September 21st. But what we can say with certainty is that data localization will be a key topic of negotiation and discussion. So, why is the storage of our data such a huge deal? Before we explore the domestic and international implications of data localization, let's briefly explore what it means. Any legal limitation on data moving globally and compelling it to remain locally. Basically, the government says that any data that is generated in India should be stored in servers within India. Given the internet is a dynamic, forever evolving and growing space, nations across the globe are still trying to figure out how best to manage, regulate and govern the internet. So first, a look at how data localization policies have played out at home. So far, India has 4 regulations that mandate storing data on servers within our borders. The draft Disha Act wants healthcare data, RBI wants financial data, the e-commerce policy wants e-commerce data, and the draft Personal Data Protection Bill says at least one live serving copy of all personal data should be stored in India and critical personal data should be stored only in India. The argument here is that data stored in servers within the country can be mined, merged, and monetized as a national resource to boost the digital economy. In January 2019, Reliance chairman and MD Mukesh Ambani strongly advocated for data localization in the presence of PM Narendra Modi and said,
"For India to succeed in this data-driven revolution, we will have to migrate the control and ownership of Indian data back to India. In this new world, data is the new oil."
Data is not the new oil, said Clegg on 13 September, countering Mukesh Ambani's analogy. Clegg, who is Facebook's global head of communication and was also former British Deputy Prime Minister, during his recent visit to India to discuss data localization, met with PM Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, NSA Ajit Doval, and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, and asserted that data is a much more fluid, intangible thing and it crosses borders. Companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, and Walmart see immense monetary value in mining the data of Indians. This data is typically stored in servers in Ireland or the US. Clegg had 2 primary messages for India. Firstly, the value of data comes not from hoarding it, but from allowing it to flow freely. And secondly, India would find itself locked out of major global data sharing initiatives that are designed to tackle serious crime and terrorism. In fact, in June, at the Global G20 Summit in Japan, India had boycotted the Osaka track discussions on data flows and digital trade. 50 countries, including Japan, the US, EU, including the UK, Russia, signed the Osaka track. So, when Modi discusses data localization with Trump, it won't only be a digital trade issue, but as much about global diplomacy. You can say that the world today is broadly split in 2 halves on the issue of how the internet should be managed and how data should be stored. So, which half is India a part of? As of now, India has aligned its internet governance policy on the Chinese side, which strongly advocates that data should stay within the country's borders. China and Russia have strongly advanced state sovereignty and territoriality of digital space as the preferred method of global internet governance. Hence, Trump and US corporate giants will press hard to get PM Modi to cross over to the other side and say that data should flow freely across the world and that geographical boundaries have no meaning or relevance to the internet's architecture. Today, India is among the few democracies without a data protection law. And how this law eventually looks when it is tabled in Parliament might be shaped by Modi-Trump talks.